The most dangerous financial decision you can make in 2026 is to rely on a single corporation to feed your family. The safe path is no longer safe. It is a trap designed to keep you comfortable while your leverage is stripped away. Welcome. I am Leonidas. For the last 80 years, young men have been sold a very specific, neatly packaged narrative. Go to school, get a degree, find a stable job at a reputable company, put 10% of your paycheck into a retirement account, and wait 40 years to finally live your life. We call this the safe path. For your grandfather, this path worked. It was underwritten by an economic reality that rewarded loyalty with pensions and lifelong security. But that world no longer exists. We are operating in a new economic paradigm, yet most men are still running the old software. They are playing by the rules of a game that was discontinued decades ago. When you trade your time for a fixed salary, you are making a massive concession. You are capping your upside while retaining all of the downside risk. If the company doubles its revenue because of your hard work, your salary remains the same. But if the company faces a bad quarter, your position is eliminated. Today, we are going to deconstruct the employee mindset. We are going to examine why a high salary is not the same as wealth, and why building equity, actual ownership in assets, is the only true form of financial security left for a man in the modern world. Before we break down these systems, a necessary disclaimer. This video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. I am not a financial advisor. The content shared here does not constitute financial, investment, or legal advice. Always perform your own due diligence and consult with a licensed professional before making any decisions regarding your career, investments, or business ventures. In software engineering and structural design, there is a concept known as a single point of failure. It refers to a part of a system that, if it fails, will stop the entire system from working. Engineers spend massive amounts of time and resources designing redundancies to ensure that a single point of failure never exists in a bridge, an airplane, or a server network. Yet when it comes to personal finance, 99% of men operate with a massive single point of failure: their employer. If you have a job, you technically have a business. You are a service provider, but you are running the most fragile business model on earth because you only have one client. If that client, your boss, wakes up in a bad mood, or if the board of directors decides to offshore your department, your revenue goes to zero overnight. You do not have security. You have the illusion of security. You are completely dependent on the benevolence and competence of people above you. True security is not found in a prestigious job title or a predictable bi-weekly direct deposit. True security is found in diversification and control. When you build equity, whether it is a business you own, a brand you control, or a portfolio of assets that generate yield, you are building redundancies. You are decentralizing your income so that no single man or institution has the power to turn off your livelihood. Let us look at the cold, hard mathematics of the employee trap. As an employee, your income is inextricably linked to your time. You are paid for your presence and your labor, but time is finite. You only have 24 hours in a day, and you require sleep. Therefore, no matter how high your hourly rate or your annual salary climbs, there is a hard mathematical ceiling on your earning potential. You cannot work 1,000 hours in a week. Furthermore, your salary is fighting a losing battle against inflation. The cost of housing, healthcare, and quality food rises faster than the standard 3% annual corporate raise. If your raise does not beat the true rate of inflation, you are effectively taking a pay cut every single year. You are working harder just to afford the same standard of living. Equity, on the other hand, operates outside the boundaries of time. Equity is ownership in something that possesses intrinsic value and can scale independently of your physical labor. When you own equity in a profitable business, the business generates revenue while you sleep. When you own equity in real estate, the property appreciates regardless of whether you are actively working on it. Wealthy people do not get rich by trading their time for a higher hourly rate. They get rich by acquiring, building, and holding equity. They focus their energy on accumulating assets that do the heavy lifting for them. To escape the trap, you must decouple your ability to earn from your requirement to be physically present. The financial limitations of the employee path are severe, but the psychological damage is arguably worse. The traditional employment system conditions you to seek permission. From the time you enter the school system to the time you sit in a corporate cubicle, you are trained to wait for an authority figure to give you a syllabus, a task list, or a set of key performance indicators. You wait for permission to take a vacation. You wait for permission to take on more responsibility. You wait for permission to earn more money. This permission-seeking behavior slowly erodes a man's agency. It creates a passive mindset. You begin to believe that your value is dictated by the market rate for your job title, rather than your ability to solve complex problems in the real world. Think about the cost of waiting. Think about how often you ask for someone else's approval. Consider the weight of that dependency. You have the power to shift that paradigm. You have the power to reclaim your agency. You have the power to stop believing that your value is set by external markers. You can become a problem solver, not just a permission seeker. Owners do not ask for permission. They identify inefficiencies, they build solutions, and they offer that value directly to the marketplace. They take on the burden of risk, and in exchange, they demand the lion's share of the reward. To shift from an employee to an owner, you must violently reject the passive mindset. You must stop asking, "What does my boss want me to do today?" and start asking, "What high-leverage problem can I solve right now that will increase the value of my own assets?" You must transition from a consumer of tasks to a producer of value. Building equity does not necessarily mean you must quit your job tomorrow and take out a massive loan to open a brick-and-mortar store. In the digital age, the barriers to entry for ownership have dropped to near zero. There are three primary vehicles of equity you should be focusing on right now. First is business equity. This is the creation of a cash-flowing entity that you own. It could be a digital service agency, an e-commerce brand, or a consulting firm. You own the LLC. You own the client list. You own the brand. Even if it starts small, it is yours. Second is media equity. In 2026, attention is a Tier 1 asset. Building an audience around a specific niche through writing, video, or audio is a form of digital real estate. An engaged newsletter or a targeted YouTube channel is an asset that can be monetized repeatedly. You own the distribution channel, which means you never have to pay gatekeepers to reach your customers. Third is investment equity. This is the traditional route of buying ownership in other people's successful systems. Buying shares of cash-flowing businesses in the stock market, or acquiring physical real estate. You are using the capital you earn to purchase machines that print more capital. You must choose at least one of these vehicles and dedicate yourself to it with the same intensity you currently dedicate to your employer's goals. I am not advising you to walk into your boss's office tomorrow and quit in a blaze of glory. Recklessness is not discipline. If you have bills, you need cash flow. Your 9-to-5 job is the mechanism that funds your transition. It is your angel investor. The battle for your financial freedom is fought and won in the hours between 5 o'clock in the evening and 9 o'clock at night. The equity audit. Track your hours this week. How many hours did you spend building your employer's equity versus your own? If the number for yourself is 0, you are failing. Start the micro business. Choose one high-income skill we discussed in previous videos and begin offering it as a freelancer. Secure your first LLC. Experience the psychological shift of receiving a payment directly from a client rather than through payroll. Automate asset acquisition. Take a fixed percentage of your current salary and systematically buy index funds or fractional real estate every single month. Force yourself to become an owner on paper. The world wants you to be a comfortable, compliant employee. It is profitable for the system if you remain dependent on it. If you want extraordinary results, you must reject the ordinary path. Stop settling for a secure spot in someone else's empire. It is time to start laying the bricks for your own. If this message resonated with you, subscribe to the channel. We are building a community of men who refuse to be a single point of failure. Which form of equity are you going to start building this year? Leave a comment below. I am Leonidas. Stay disciplined.